That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
Now, just yesterday, or I guess early this morning, we got the news. TakeOff from the Migos
Yeah.
passed away. Recently, PNB Rock passed away. You had Mo3, you had Draco the Ruler, and
So
countless
many. Yeah,
other.
it seems like the last year it's been crazy.
Brutal amount of.
Brutal.
You know, what are your thoughts on these rappers meeting this untimely demise and balancing the street life with their newfound success
Yeah, I
and
don't know.
unable to do so?
Yeah, I don't know the details of those situations. I see just like what everybody else see. I just saw, on social media the video. It's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean? To see a young brother. I mean, not that this has any, his life is worth something regardless of what he does as profession. But shit, Takeoff was like the dopest one to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
To me personally. So,
I was just on the podcast talking about how raw he was
yo, like
the day he died,
like
earlier in the day.
For what I like as a rapper. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I would love to really hear, and he was only 28 or something.
28
like that.
when he passed.
So it's like his life was just beginning. So it's just
And
horrible.
he had so much success.
I don't know what the details is. I just kind of briefly read some things and I don't want to speculate, but I don't think I could be wrong, but did somebody intentionally kill him? Or
No,
was it like,
no,
okay. Yeah,
no.
so it wasn't that, right?
No one
So it's just a
intentionally
tragic
killed him.
event.
And he wasn't even the one involved in the altercation.
So
Yeah.
there was an altercation.
There was
but
an altercation between his unc, Quavo, and,
Okay.
on some dice game shit, and it wound up going left. And, the bullets were coming from all directions. Supposedly, I wasn't there. And, supposedly some came from his own people.
Yeah.
And,
I will say this, and I'm not the spokesman for the black community. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, in these harsh environments, but I was fortunate enough, to have my mother and father. But I can say this just from speaking with OGs like Bobby Seale. You know what I mean? Speaking with OGs and people that have in the community that have been doing this work. I worked for a nonprofit organization as part-time when I was doing those battles. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I was going back to my job, tutoring and mentoring kids. That's what I did.
You've always been a real conscious dude.
Thank you. But I worked in the community hands-on. I went into the hoods and helped out and delivered groceries, and food to families in North Richmond, in South Richmond, in the ghetto. I've been, I've lived in those same hoods, and I will say that we have to, in the black community at some point, we've got to understand that it starts with us. You know what I'm saying? We know that all these forces are against us. That's what some of the first things that we instilled in the young men that we were mentoring. Like, look, notice what the situation is. Give yourselves the best opportunity. Create an environment where you're not put in that situation, because once you get in the system, once you get in these things, they're gonna do whatever. Now you just become a number. You're just a cog in their system, and you have somebody like who can make it out through rapping. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be extra on your, and not saying that he wasn't, what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't know that situation, but I know there's certain situations. Like I remember, I think it was, I could be wrong. I think Jay-Z had a conversation with Biggie. He said he was in the car. Somebody said he was in the car with, and it was just like, yo, either Biggie or Jay was like, yo, I can't do that shit no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
Right.
you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one of the homies was telling me it was some situation with Jay-Z. He knew Jay-Z, and he went up to Jay, and Jay was like, come on, man, I can't do that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you know what I mean? So it's just like, when you get to some status, man, I don't know what his situation is, but, rest in peace to him. Hopefully.
He was definitely a multi-millionaire.
You got to move, hopefully you can move differently. But it's still, he should be here.
Absolutely.
He should be here. This guy had his whole career ahead of him. And, these type of things can happen to anybody. So it's not like, but it's just unfortunate, man. So rest in peace, man.
Very unfortunate. R.I.P. And, our condolences to his family and all that.
Yeah.
And apparently I heard that he was on good terms with Offset as well.
Hopefully
which is good.
hopefully this, it's got to have an effect on those two.
I would hope
Quavo
so.
and Offset, like, they got to be like, yo, life is,
I would hope so.
it's precious, man.
Yeah.
Because, we've all lost somebody at some point in time, and somebody that young. and was so much, so much ahead of him. Like he only scratched the surface of his career,
Yeah, and literally been in the most successful group for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Like,